Hello, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. I will say I am a week's late on a review for Impact Wrestling, but I am going to get this week's episode. With last week, with all the amount of wrestling going on last week, I didn't really think I was going to have time for it. A review of Impact, and I really didn't have time for a review because if you remember last week, which I may talk about a little bit later in this review, is the United We Stand show they did last Thursday. I was able to catch that, which was actually a really good show. The only problems I really had with it was the audio problems because I don't think the crowd was mic'd up well. I actually heard the crowd was actually really loud, lively and big throughout the show, but I just couldn't hear them. It's like the music and commentary was more louder than I could hear, the reaction from the crowd, which weren't really any bad matches and anything. So, I just, like I said, like I said, I did like the show. It was actually pretty enjoyable. I will speak on some other things that have to regard the show, which I've heard some changes over that weekend. I do want to talk a little bit about Eli Drake, but I'm going to wait for that in a minute, just get a little bit more detail upon that, because I will say this, maybe I get it out now. I will say this about his release from the company. It might surprise Eli Drake got released from Impact. Yes and no. Personally, I thought they were kind of spinning his wheels with him, if you ask me. I like Eli Drake. I think he's a really good promo. I do like the whole dummy thing. I've been a fan out for a good minute now. I was lobbying for him to be champion anyways, and I did like when he won the world championship. Yeah, it was during that bad GFW era, but I don't think he had that great of a reign, and I feel like once the new creative regime kind of came in, I felt like I lost a little train of thought right there through the recording, but like I said, I think in a way I feel like this was coming. I feel like they took a back seat on him, the new creative team, after they got rid of Jared and them. I will say it looked like they were kind of spinning their wheels with Eli Drake until I would say recently with this whole Eddie Edwards tag team thing. I didn't really get the whole hardcore, him trying to make him the king of hardcore thing going on or something when he was battling against Tommy Dreamer and Abyss during that time. So I don't know, man. It's a really strange thing. I would say with Eli Drake, I do believe he should have been more in the world title picture because I do believe he was a top guy in that company. In my opinion, I don't know what's really gonna happen. I know he said some things on Twitter when and this has to do with the United We Stand show. I believe at first he was scheduled to wrestle Tessa Blanchard in a intergender match, but he did not want to do it. And, I had seen him say some things on Twitter, which I do agree with, about if they had Jordan Grace going against Killer Cross, and he didn't in a way, I would say makes sense about a 6'3" jack dude beating up a 5'3" girl, which I'm not discrediting Jordan Grace. She's really strong, but her versus Killer Cross, and don't get me wrong, I've seen these matches for years of the women fighting the men, and if you want to go on the crazy thing, we can go back then in the Attitude Era, or we can go almost current in the Lucha Underground. You saw a lot of dudes versus girls. Do I think it looks believable when I'm seeing Taya fight Brian Cage on Lucha Underground? No, not really. I think it looks and kind of silly to me, but sometimes I guess they know how to make it work. I believe Jimmy Jacobs said something on him on Twitter about him addressing that. So I know he kind of, like I say, he did say some things against it, which I kind of understand why he would have backed out of this match anyways now. Because when I saw the United We Stand show, they threw in Joey Ryan, which I don't even know what to say about Joey Ryan at this point nowadays. After what I saw, what happened around WrestleMania weekend with him, I don't know, man. I'm so far gone off this whole dick thing. Like I said, I thought it was funny at first, but now I just found it ridiculous at this point. It's damn near insanity to me, to what I've seen, and people go along with this for some reason. But Eli Drake, I do believe it sucks that they got rid of him, and now with him being gone, I wonder how they're gonna work the rest of this. Because yes, this show is taped, so we all know what the end result is gonna be now since he's gone from the company. So it's almost like a lot of these segments with him and Eddie Edwards now are pointless. And I'm sure this will go all the way in the Rebellion in the next 2 weeks when the pay-per-view happens. So they're gonna have to find Eddie Edwards a new partner, if I'm assuming, or however they're gonna work this whole storyline or write Eli Drake off now. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. Some people think it's a work that Eli Drake has been released. I don't think it is, and I don't know why they would try to make this into a work. I don't get it, but I honestly believe they were spinning their wheels with him in the begin with, and I just feel like they should have kept him in more of that world title picture. I know there's a big story going on right now with Johnny Impact and Brian Cage as the main focus, but he should be in that top upper part of the card right now, if you ask me. Now, I know some people are wondering where Eli Drake will go. Will he go to WWE and most likely be part of NXT, which I would not be surprised, or AEW would sign him? I don't know. Those are like two companies I would believe him going to. Ring of Honor, I'm not sure. New Japan, I'm not honestly sure, but if I had to make a 50-50 thing, it had to be either AEW or NXT. I'm gonna assume that since he was, released from the company. So it does suck that he is gone and everything, but I just felt they could have done more with him. I really do, and they did do a lot with him, but just given to what I've read from a couple sites and comments he said on Twitter, and like I said, they were just spinning their wheels with him. It's hard to say with Eli Drake, but we will see what the future holds for him since he is not in Impact Wrestling anymore. But we did kick off this week's show with Moose versus Zachary Wentz. Last week he beat Trey Miguel. I did like last week's episode because they did a Friday reference on there when Miguel took off the glasses and the rest of the Rascals was like, yeah, and what did Moose do? I think he took the guy's glasses and he went off, and they said, he gonna cry when he get in the car. Go back and look at that movie Friday. It's like Debo beating up Red. Go just believe me. Go look it up. But I did like this match with Zachary Wentz and Moose. Pretty good. Mostly a power versus speed thing going on. I like last week's also with Miguel. Look, pretty cool spots out there, I will say that. Moose was able to get the win, pretty much getting a spear on Zachary Wentz, with Moose beating both Rascals members 2 weeks in a row now. Will he beat Desmond Xavier next week, since he's beating both of these guys right now and keeps showing up in their smoke circles and messing with him and stuff, wanting to beat him up after what they kind of said about him talking to Melissa Santos. So I actually like this mini feud that's been going on with the Rascals and Moose. It's been pretty good. I know they've kind of separated Moose and Killer Cross right now, but this is a good side story, I will say, with Xavier and, well, not Xavier, but Moose and the Rascals. It's pretty enjoyable, and him just beating the Rascals have been pretty good. Next, they had a video package for Rob Van Dam, who has re-signed with the company, and he will wrestle at Rebellion and will be at the tapings in Atlanta, also at the 2300 Arena. RVD did come back at United We Stand in a tag match with Sabu, which I actually thought wasn't really that bad against Pentagon and Phoenix. Both Van Dam and Sabu can still go. I can say that I'm glad Sabu grew his hair back, because I did not know who he was when he was bald. RVD, I haven't really seen both of them really wrestle that long until recently, to be honest, because I haven't seen where they've been. The last time I heard about RVD was it was some match with Pentagon, I heard, and he got kicked in the eye that he couldn't come back to WWE because I think they looked at him as a liability, or his injury was that bad. So I do know Van Dam still wrestles, and just kind of going back to United We Stand, he still moves the same to me. He doesn't look that slower. He moves like RVD, looks like RVD, so he can go as RVD. Same with Sabu. So I know it's with him signed to the company, it's been to work with his schedule, if I'm not mistaken, of this agreement. So I don't know how long RVD will be here for a while, but it is great to see him again, because he said he's like a magnet, he wears title belts, like he attracts the belts to him, and he has two, because I know Van Damme has a documentary coming out also, and they've been kind of promoting that too. So I am glad to see RVD back in Impact Wrestling again. That, and I still like his theme song because it's simple and funny. Raw Van Damme, the whole effort show. It's still funny to me. Next thing you know, Melissa Santos interviewed Madison Rayne about being back in Impact. Of course, I think I've already talked about her. If you go back and look at my G1 Supercar review, I did kind of talk about the whole her taking a shot at Ring of Honor and everything. I guess how Ring of Honor is taking a shot back at her, trying to reform the beautiful people, except making the allure. But since she says she's back, and yes, she took a loss last week, but that's not going to stop her from becoming a 6-time Knockouts champion. Tessa Blanchard then came in, and you want to talk about you becoming a champion and everything. You just lost in your return, okay? And you're just part of that old division and everything where Gail Kim is from. And you're just trying to relive your glory days. But Madison Rayne pretty much says, I'm 2-0 against you, which is actually true. If you go back and look up, ever since Tessa Blanchard's debut, she's beaten her, and that is true. 2-0. So she says, why don't since third time's the charm, how about you do this tonight? Rayne pretty much said, to bring it on. Tessa Freeman said bring it on in after that. So a match will be going on from there. So I would say good attention to detail. At least they addressed stuff that's happened in the past with these two about Madison Rayne beating her. So pretty good segment from there. Next thing you know, we had Su Yung come out with the zombies or bridesmaids or whatever to go against Rosemary. This wasn't really a bad match, I should say. I don't know if the crowd was into it that much, but it ended up with a DQ due to the, bridesmaids getting up trying to attack Rosemary. Kiera Hogan then came for the save then, but Rosemary kept saying, what are you doing? I don't need your help. Pretty much the bridesmaids were able to jump both of them in, and Su Yung hit the panic switch on both of them just to take them out from there. How long does this feud continue since, Allie is not here anymore? They quote-unquote killed Allie and she disintegrated all the way into the AEW roster. I'm not sure where does that go on from this point. Of course, they still promoted, not promoted, but they talked about the United We Stand thing and talked to some of the wrestlers from there on what they thought about the show. Talk about the show and everything. So, it was still a good package. They had an Ace Austin promo. Pretty much how he was in that 6-way X Division match last week, and talked about Aiden Pierce took it away from him, which I've never heard of this guy till now. And Petey Williams being in that match also, as he was gonna hit the fold on one of them. Pretty much he had a card that said Ace up. I don't know a lot about Ace Austin right now, but I am liking him more and more, though. Even though he looks like he's trying to be like Gambit from the X-Men, I'm liking more and more of Ace Austin as weeks go on. The Mac. As I said, the Mac was in the back, pretty much sitting somewhere backstage until Killer Cross comes in and starts talking to him then, for some reason. He asked him, do you like jazz? As the Mac said, what? Cross Freeman said, I like opera and classical music, but jazz is something I really like because it differs from the prior two genres and everything from music. And he said, Cross said, he likes improvising yet a deliberate nature of music. He also likes how, each jazz musician is a top-tier musician, and that's beautiful. Because he pretty much said that Rich Swann likes jazz too. And Cross said, he's not telling Mac anything he doesn't already know. Sound like a Sean O'Hare reference. But people are saying that, Rich is playing Mac for a fool. And Cross, he says when music is published, you can't rewrite it. It's like much like the Mac's career. And he's, recommending that Mac looks at his career future. So, a very interesting segment, if I should say. A little out of the blue, but I don't know. Cross being the devil's advocate there, I would say. Almost trying to be like, I wouldn't say a master manipulator almost, but telling the Mac something from a a mind games perspective, I would say. It was interesting that, he just started talking to the Mac from out of nowhere, but he's right, in a way, he's kind of right. Like, why are you letting Rich Swann here control everything, huh? Why is he getting all the glory? What are you getting out of this, huh? Think about that. What are you really getting? Because there's a lot of great jazz musicians, but only one can be at the top. And your career right now ain't really going nowhere, I guess, what he's trying to say about the Mac, since, Swann is just using you. So, very interesting segment. Something I really didn't expect from that. Okay, that was a little. I thought Cross was more involved in the world title thing right now. Didn't think he'd be involved in this. But interesting. Cody Deaner, I see, is coming back to the company. There's a guy I haven't heard in years. I guess he's bringing his brother Jake Deaner also. The Deaners, Giver or something, or Get Her Done. First off, I haven't heard about Cody Deaner since what? 2009, maybe 2008 Impact. I didn't know this guy was still wrestling. Okay, I knew this guy. What was he doing? Fighting the knockouts at one point, if I remember. And then I just remember him disappearing. So it's been almost 10 years since I've seen this guy. I know he's been on the Indies and everything, but I didn't know this guy was still around. I'm be honest with you. The debut of Josh Alexander. I've heard about this guy for a minute. And Ethan Page, as their team is called the North, going against El Reverso and Sheldon Jean. I don't really know what these other guys are, but I guess Alexander and Ethan Page have, been a team for a minute. Listen, I don't know about Josh Alexander. Like I said before, I just know they signed him to a contract, but I heard he's good, real good. To what I seen in the ring was pretty good, though. I will say that. I did like the finisher, almost like to a Alabama slam, and to like an Alabama slam and into like a reverse slam, which is pretty cool. It's like a pretty much two-man team. Like Alexander hit the Alabama slam and Page caught him and slammed the other guy to the ground. Like I said, it was actually a good tag match, I will say. But Alexander, he had a pretty good debut out there, I will say that. I don't know much, but I'm willing to learn more to see as time goes on. Ethan Page there, I haven't seen the guy too much, but it looks like he's doing something other than being an enhancement guy. So we'll see what happens in these tag matches, which is pretty interesting. He pretty much didn't cut a promo backstage then, as he is now awoken. He says that, Alexander has woken him up, and he says, he's been here losing 1 minute, but since, he's back in Canada and everything, that Alexander, him and Alexander were the best in Canada right now, and that they're looking for gold, he says, and that, all ego and the walking weapon are the North, and all the tag teams are going to get put on notice when we start taking over some things. So, a good promo by Ethan Page also, really good. I know the guy's been on a losing streak for a minute, but maybe he's really going somewhere now, so we'll see where this goes. Gail Kim was on commentary next for Madison Rayne and Tessa Blanchard's match. Of course, Gail was talking about what was going on. Pretty good match, I will say that, which ended up with Tessa getting angry at Madison throughout the match that she got a steel chair and was going to hit Madison Rayne with it, but Gail Kim got up from the commentary table and stopped her and, pretty much, took the chair away from her. Pretty much then Tessa was pissed. She was about to go back at Madison Rayne, but Madison Rayne hit her with a pretty much a roll up for the win. Pretty much a good segment, I will say that, which does protect Tessa because it's her feud with Gail Kim. So it does make Madison Rayne 3-0 against Tessa Blanchard right now, even though Tessa was about to get a chair and she pretty much lost focus due to the distraction by Gail Kim taking the chair away from her. So pretty good, I will say that. Good segment, still puts a lot more into the story between Gail and Tessa's feud, so I still like where that's going. And like I said, it's going to be a really great match when it gets to Rebellion in the next few weeks, so I'm liking where this is still going. Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake were in the back talking to Pentagon and Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers. They were talking to him until LAX pretty much jumped them from out of nowhere as Eli Drake held Eddie Edwards back, saying, not yet, we're not going to get them now. Next thing you know, Melissa Santos was interviewing Johnny Impact and Taya. They wanted to know about their thoughts on the main event since they have to go against Brian Cage and Jordan Grace. And Johnny Impact was talking about how Johnny is the once in a generation athlete, and that Cage is once in a millennium athlete. But should he be a champion? Should he be champion? As Johnny said, Cage's problem that he's once in a millennium dumbass, pretty much. And then he talked about the marks and about Brian Cage, because he's someone the marks can relate to, and that Cage and the marks should start a dumbass mark club, and Jordan Grace should join it too. But Ty wanted to speak more on that, because he pretty much brought out Jordan Grace and Brian Cage are impressive, and they probably have the same daily workout regime, lift weights together, and doing food prep together, and then pretty much getting very close to Melissa Santos' face, pretty much saying they do a very hard cardio workout together. Okay, which, Taya is pretty much try to piss off Melissa Santos, because if everyone doesn't know, he is with her, okay? He is with her, and they have a kid together, so, pretty much taking a shot at that right there, trying to piss off Melissa Santos, as, Johnny pretty much started laughing as he walked away, and, they both walked away, so, good segment, I will say that, trying to put in some gotta break some kayfabe, put some realism to it, and, pretty much tell Melissa Santos, oh yeah, they probably getting some hard workout together, you know what I mean. I'm sure everybody knows where that's going. So I did like that segment, pretty much showing them as some dastardly heels right there. Sami Callihan, Chris Brothers, and Madman Fulton were walking in some alley somewhere, talking about OVE, as Sami pretty much said, this place smells nasty and everything. Smell like piss around the corner over there. And he said this is the place where Rich Swann grew up, pretty much. A dumpster fire. Pretty much he was homeless. This is pretty much Baltimore he's talking about. That, Baltimore is a dump. I don't know how more accurate it could be in that, but don't know if that's true all the way. But be careful. I could be pissing off some people I know from Baltimore if I keep talking about it, which is pretty funny. But pretty much he talked about where Rich Swann grew up, that he grew up in a dump of Baltimore, in the alleyway of it, and that that Rich Swann is stabbed over in the back one too many times, and he's given Rich everything, but now he's going to take what is most prized to him, and that's the X Division title, and that people will not recognize him when he's done with him. Okay, because it pretty much it's for Ohio, by Ohio, and they're going to take everything because Ohio. That's why it's Ohio. But pretty much after that, Tessa was talking that she cannot. She's getting tired of Gail Kim, and that Gail couldn't help herself, trying to get involved in her matches and that rebellion. She's just making this more and more personal. Next thing you know, they went to some skit thing with Follow Bob backstage with some music in the background. He was looking for somebody until Scarlett Bordeaux pops out of nowhere, smoke show or whatever. Pretty much talked about what happened last week. As Bob said Bob, which pretty much meant thank you. Scarlett pretty much says you did good for what you did to the Destiny Hit Squad, and they reminded her of Glenn Gilberti. So I'm gonna need a tag partner for next week. So the smoke show and the bar are going to lay people out next week, as she said. So we'll see what happens from that. We then get into the main event of Johnny Impact and Taya Valkyrie versus Brian Cage and Jordan Grace. I did see they kind of changed Johnny Impact's intro a little, which they had like movie star, like ground thing, and had what did they have on it? The Boone the Bounty Hunter thing. Pretty much having some of Johnny's movies on there, just like the Bounty Hunter thing. That's a straight to DVD thing. So he still got some type of movie thing outside of his wrestling career that's on DVDs mostly. But I know about the Boone the Bounty Hunter one. I will say one thing about this mixed tag match. It was pretty good. I did like that powerbomb Jordan Grace did on Taya throughout the match. Pretty brutal, I will say that. Mostly kind of going to the finish of this match, since everybody started almost hitting suicide dives out of the ring. Cage just jumping out of the ring, which looked crazy. He was going to go for the drill claw, but the referee, Johnny Bravo, attacked him from behind, hit him with a chop block. Cage was pissed as he grabbed the referee in, but next thing you know, Taya shows out of nowhere, hits a low blow. Johnny hits the running knee for the win, or I may have that mixed up after he hit the running knee, because that's when the low blow came in after that. And then they all started pretty much jumping Cage as the people start what they chant, "Screw you Bravo" or "Screw you Johnny." So after they pretty much they start beating up Cage and celebrating with this, the Johnny Bravo referee, since he's a heel out there. They didn't really expect that to happen, but it does put more heat on the heels of making Cage look like a sympathetic face even more, which they just start beating the crap out of him, and the fans were really pissed at it. Impact and Taya beating the crap out of Cage, now having some heel referee as in part of all of this. I will say a pretty good episode, really solid, a lot of great things going on, from the main event to of course the Tessa and Gail Kim feud. What else is pretty good? The debut of the North of Jason Alexander and All Ego Ethan Page. I did like that. Moose pretty much still having their feud with the Rascals was pretty good too. Actually, a really good episode of Impact, I will say. A lot of things going on, a lot of stories happening. Not bad at all. So we still pretty much hype into Rebellion. So I'm still waiting to see what they come up next from this. I know they still got a title match next week with who they have with next week, huh? The Lucha Brothers and Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards, which I'm sure we all know who's gonna win that anyways. But they're still hyping that up for next week. But I did enjoy this episode of Impact, though. Probably wish I would have done one last week. But like I said, there was just so much wrestling going on. It was just hard to almost keep up with every other review that I can get my hands on, and pretty much try to get the bigger ones as much as I could and get over with this stuff, because it was a lot of reviews to get through. Okay, a lot of shows last week, but enjoyable still at the same time. But I said, a great episode of Impact. Make sure you check it out, though, if you get the chance. Comment, subscribe. It's me, the H-double-D, coming to news and reviews. I know what I do with the show. Here I go. Stay intact. This is Impact. If you want to get any chance, check out my other reviews of G1 Supercard, TakeOver New York, or WrestleMania 35 if you get the chance. But yes, please check out the reviews out from there. But I'm going to go. I'm out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out.